Hello Logic language learners, and welcome back to this video which has been requested by Demond. Demond is a very capable student, somebody I'm teaching at the moment, who is already living in Paris, which is fantastic, and he's doing really well. But this is a method I use more recently, which has really helped a lot of people understand how to use the pronouns. So if you like this video, can I ask you to subscribe to the channel? Can I ask you to click like on the video? And if you have any other questions, you can email me as per normal at logiclanguagelearning@gmail.com, as many of you have. Okay, so there are other videos on the channel which talk about pronouns and all various different bits and pieces, but this is just a new method that I have been using that for me is working really well to help people. So let's quickly look at what we're calling pronouns today. Okay, a pronoun is a replacement word. So my name is Luke. Okay, if anybody talks about me, they're not always going to use my name. They're not always going to say Luke. So for example, if they say, oh, I like Luke, I like him. Okay, we're not always going to say the word Luke. We're using a replacement word for the proper name of what I am. Okay, if we were talking about cake, I love cake, I love it. Okay, we don't keep saying I love cake. Do you love cake? Yes, I love cake. What's your favourite cake? Well, my favourite cake. We don't always keep using the proper word for something, the full word for something. So if you find yourself using a replacement word for something, this is basically what we're talking about today. We're talking about pronouns. They take the place of a noun, which is a name. Okay, so forget the grammar, this is what we're dealing with. So this method can be used for any French sentence where you're not using the full word. If you're using the full word, there are no problems. Okay, I like the cake, j'aime le gâteau, or j'aime la tarte. I speak to Luc, je parle à Luc. We use the full word, we don't need to remember any of these tricks. So these tricks are for sentences where you're going to be using replacement words. So me is a replacement word because my real name's Luc. I like him, him is a replacement word because his name is Dan. I love them. Them is a replacement word because I could either be talking about cakes or I could be talking about Dan and Judy, for example. Okay, I could be talking about two people. You is a replacement word really because your name is whatever your name is. So if I'm talking to somebody, okay, let's say I'm talking to my friend Jen. Okay, Jen's name is Jen. So if I'm talking to her, hello Jen, how are you? Really, you is a replacement word because it should be Jen. It should be the proper name. So if you keep thinking in this method, this video is going to really be so easy for you. Okay, so we're going to divide all of these sentences into two very easy categories. We're going to call them relationships and little long. Okay, so just say those with me. We've got the relationships method and little and long. Okay? Now the relationships method is basically going to be this. Okay? In all French sentences, unless you have got the long form, the to form. So let's look at some to forms. Manger, er, to dance. Okay, that's a to form. Yeah, let's put some here. So manger. That's a to form, that's an infinitive, that is a verb. Okay, so we're going to go with little and long, and I will explain in a minute. Venir. We've got to come. If you're using the long form, the to form, we're going to go with the little and long method. You can possibly already tell that it will be the long. If we're going to use the verb, let me say, to have. Okay, so any time we're using the infinitive, okay, anytime you are using the infinitive, you're going to go with this method. So basically, most French sentences that we're going to tend to come up with are going to be in the relationships method. So let's quickly look at what the relationships method means. Okay, so relationships, let's change pen colour. We're going to put all the relationships in one box, and we're going to pop the verb or verbs in another box. That is basically what this method works, how this method works. So stop thinking of your French sentences as, oh, I need this word, then I need this word, then I need this word. No, okay? So let's now look at how this works. So, if we're saying, for example, I love him, okay? First question, can I hear the word to love in this sentence? No. I hear love, I hear the normal verb. So only if I hear the to am I going to use the little and long method. So I love him. So first things first, we know using this method we need a relationship. And the relationship means the relationship between the person doing, or the object doing the verb, and the object having the verb done to it. So let's quickly look. So the relationship here, I love him. Who's doing the verb? I. Okay, so we'll have a je. I love him, and as you know from previous videos, him, her, them. Le, la, les. We're going to use the words. So my word for him is going to be le. So I'm dealing with who is in the sentence completely before I even go near the verb. Je le. So my relationship will be je le. Say it with me, je le, je le, je le. Okay? So let's say now that we've dealt with the relationship, then we go to verb. So I love him, what's the love? Aimer. Okay? What's the core? M, because we're dealing with the normal verb. So we've got je le and aime. And as you know, je le will become je l'aime. But the point is we're going to do all the relationships and then the verb. I used to love him. What's my tense for used to? A, wishy-washy. But listen, I used to love him. Is there a to form in that verb? No. So the method I need is relationships. And relationships means I get all the little bits done first, then the verb. So I, him, je le. Notice the relationship is not going to change. Je le. Used to love aimer. Je l'aimais. Let's do another one. So je l'aimais. What am I doing? A-I-S. Okay? I will love him. What's the relationship? I and him. That's not going to change. I need my je, I need my le, and obviously because my verb begins with a vowel, it's going to become L apostrophe. Will love, aimerait. Okay? Let's do some more then. So let's say he sees me. He sees me. Can you hear the to form in the sentence? No, we just hear he sees me. We don't hear the verb to see. Okay? So we deal with the bits. Who's doing the verb? Il. Who's getting seen? Me. Let me establish that relationship. Il, me. Okay? That's not going anywhere. He sees me. What's the verb to see? Voir. What's the soft? Voir. He sees me. Il me voit. He used to see me. What's the verb tense if I'm talking about used to? A for was. Il me voyait. Okay, this verb is on the order, not on how you form. This video is on the order, not how you form the verbs. So he saw me. Now, when we talk about things being in the action past, okay, we talk about three ingredients. Person doing it, then the have or be word, then the past. So we normally have three ingredients. Yeah? Person doing it, person in the person or thing doing it, have or be, then the past word. Okay? Now, if your person doing it is part of the relationship, we can forget, basically, if we've got 1, 2 and 3, Okay, 1, 2 and 3. Then obviously, if we're dealing with the relationships, we've got 1, 2, 3. Person doing this, have or be verb, then the past word. So for example, il a vu. Yeah, il a vu. That would be my normal he has seen. Il a vu. Okay? If I'm using this relationship method, I've got to divide this into two boxes. I've got to have relationship first, which is all the bits involved, then the verbs. So a and vu, you need to start thinking of separately. So what's the relationship for he and me? Il me. That's not going anywhere. That's not going to change. Il me. Okay? Now, because it's a vu, that's now going to become il m'a vu. We know this. This we know. Okay? He would see me. Il me verrait. He used to see me. Il me voyait. He had seen me. Il me avait vu. So il m'avait vu. So the relationship will always be 1, 2. Now, let's look when we have 3 relationships. So you guys already know the rules. If you've got the word en, which means of it, of some, then this is going to come at the end of your relationship. This is going to be the last thing you use. But again, our relationship now is going to be divided into 3 things. So he gives me some. Forget the giving. Forget the verb, because the verb is going to come last. So who's he? Il. What's me? Me. Some, as we know, is en, so that's going to become M'-en. So I've got 3 bits now in my relationship. Il m'en. I've got that completely out of the way. Now I'm free to worry about the verb, because I didn't hear to give. Yeah? Because that would give me little and long, as I'm about to talk about. So he gives me some. What's the verb to give? Donner. So he gives me some. Il m'en donne. He has given me. Il m'en. Now pause. How many ingredients have I got here in my relationship box? We don't care. We just know that the relationship is il m'en. He to me, some. He gave, normally, il a donné. How many of those words are to do with verbs? A and donné. So a and donné are going to go here, because as you know, we have the relationship box and then we have the verb box. So il m'en a donné, and I need an accent on that e. He had given. Let's just say it on its own. He had given. Il avait donné. Okay, same word at the end. A-V-A-I-T. Of the words il avait donné, a normal sentence, he had given, how many of those words are verbs? The second 2. Avait and donné. So he had given me some. I don't even need to think about the verbs just yet. I want you to give me the relationships. What's the relationships? He to me, some. Il m'en avait donné. Il m'en avait donné. Okay? So the fact is, we are always going to deal with the relationship first in any of the tenses, unless we hear the to form. So il m'en donne, he gives me some. Il m'en a donné. Il m'en avait donné. Il m'en donnera, he will give me some. Il m'en donnerait, he would have given me some. Il m'en aurait donné. So it doesn't matter, you just leave yourself clear to think about the verbs when you've already dealt with everybody else involved. Now, let's very quickly look at our little and long method, okay? So, take your hands and place them together like this. Give me a small word, give me a long word. Give me a small word, give me a long word. Okay? This basically is how this technique works. What have we always used in the videos when we talk about the infinitive? We go like this with our hands, because the infinitive is the longest form of the verb. So, je mange, what's the verb to eat? Manger. Okay, I mean, okay, I guess by definition there are conjugations of manger where there are more